All right, you guys, it's Monday. Welcome to live yoga. I'm gonna get myself back on my mat and we'll talk about what we are gonna get into today. So, last week was all about twists, which prepared us for this week, which is all about back bends. So for today's practice, I'm gonna strongly recommend that you have a block. If you don't have a block, one thing you could use to substitute today for that is a blanket that you're able to roll up or a sturdy pillow, not a very squishy pillow, but a sturdy one. And then if you have a strap, you might need it. I'm going to show you a variation that might require a strap a little later. But if you don't have one, don't worry about it. It's not completely imperative for today's practice. So without further ado, back bends. We're going to get started in child's pose, which is my favorite way to start any class. Your feet together, knees slightly apart. Shift your hips back onto your heels, and your arms can be forward or back. That's totally up to you. Just let your forehead come down to the floor. And then this is that first opportunity, if you're in a little bit of a tighter body, to use that block, right? You can place a block underneath your forehead. And then again, just let your arms be forward or back alongside you. And you're just going to take a moment to settle into your breath and into your body and get yourself ready for today's practice. So take a nice big inhale through your nose. And then exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And again, nice big inhale through the nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And one more time, inhale through the nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And then start to find a steady rhythm of breath. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Maybe lightly constricting the sides of your throat, coming into that ujjayi breath. If you're not sure what that is, I've got a tutorial for ujjayi on the channel, so you can check that out when you're done with practice today. And then if your arms are back, you can go ahead and reach them forward. You're going to shift yourself up onto all fours. Adjust as you need so that your shoulders are stacked right up over your wrists, your hips are stacked right up over your knees. And then we're going to take a couple little rounds of cat-cow to warm up that spine. Inhaling, lengthening the chest forward, sending the gaze up. And exhaling, pressing and rounding through the spine, dropping the crown of your head. And as you move through this cat-cow today, and inhaling, lengthening. And exhaling, pressing and rounding. See if you can draw your attention to how flexible your low back is, right? How easily it moves as you move through these shapes. And then for today, what we're going to do is we're actually going to try to stabilize this very flexible, bendy lower back. And we're going to try to crack open the less flexible upper spine and chest so that your back bends are supported and you don't overtax your low back. So take one more round, inhaling, lengthening the chest forward. Exhaling, pressing and rounding through your spine. And then inhale, coming to a flat back. Lifting your belly button towards your spine. You can walk your hands forward just a little bit. Step your right foot back. And then your left foot back to meet it. And you come into a plank pose, top of a push-up. So actually, the first order of business is to strengthen your low belly, right? That is your stabilizer for your low back. So there's going to be a fair amount of abdominal work going on today. And it starts right now. So as you press your feet down into the floor, activate through your legs, lift your low belly towards your spine, propel the crown of your head forward, press down through the palms and find that nice strong root through your arms. This much activation through your belly is the name of the game for the entire rest of our practice. So as you lift your hips up and back behind you and come into your downward facing dog, you don't let that belly go. You keep it activated, drawing up towards your spine. And then inhale, glide it back forward into that plank pose so you can really get a sense of that lift and activation. And then exhale, press it back to your dog. And one more time, inhale, glide it forward into that nice stable plank pose. Exhale, press it back into that dog. Bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, step or walk your way all the way up to the top of the mat. Just let your head hang here. Again, it's early days in your practice, so you might feel a little sticky, a little tight. So if you want to kind of bend one knee deeply and straighten the other leg out, you can. And then bring your hands to either side of your feet, or maybe your hands come to your shins. Lengthen your chest forward, coming into that flat back position. Exhale, release over your legs. Press down through your feet, sweep your arms all the way up and overhead on an inhale. And then exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes. Shift until you feel all four corners of your feet root down into the floor. And then once you feel those feet nice and firm on the floor, you can start to activate your legs. Send your tailbone down towards the ground and then notice if your belly is floppy, or can you draw the belly button towards your spine and activate. Lengthen the crown of your head towards the ceiling, soften the shoulders down and away from you. Let your head and neck be free and easy. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And as you're here in that Tadasana, this is the foundation of your standing practice. Right? Nothing needs to be fancy, it's just you and your mat. So from this place of stability, blink your eyes open, inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, dive and fold forward over your legs. Inhale, come to a flat back. You're going to shift the weight into your right foot. Step your left foot all the way back towards the back of the mat. Lower that back knee all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes. Walk your hands up the top of your front thigh bone so that knee stacks right up over the ankle. You're nice and stable. Inhale, sweep both arms up and overhead, coming into that Anjaneyasana. So it's this first opportunity here to keep this low back stable. It doesn't move, but we start to take a look at what your upper back is capable of. Bend at the elbows and lift the chest towards the ceiling and just start to feel that little opening. And then inhale, reach the arms up. And we'll repeat that one more time. Bend at the elbows, lift the chest towards the ceiling without ducktailing your low back. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Bring the hands down to the ground. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee so you're in a high lunge here. Draw your right knee up into your chest so you're in that knee to nose position. Your shoulders are still stacked up over your wrists. Inhale, sweep the right leg up and back behind you. Open up through your hip. Bend your knee, circle your ankle. Straighten that leg powerfully back behind you. Set your right foot down next to your left. Inhale, glide forward into that strong plank pose, and then knees up or down, your choice. On a count of 5, you're going to lower yourself all the way to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release your forehead down on the mat. Reach your right foot way back towards the back of the mat and then set it down. Reach your left foot way back to the back of the mat and set it down. And then reach both arms way back towards the back of the mat. That may be enough here, or you could interlace your fingertips. You're going to reach the arms back, lengthen the crown of your head forward, and the net effect is that you lift your chest, and then reach your toe tips back, and you get a little lift through the legs. Shalabhasana, the locust pose. So again, this low spine is long. You're just getting a sense of Opening up across the chest, letting back bending come from that sticky upper spine instead of that already flexible low spine. And then exhale, release. Bring the hands into that chaturanga position. Tuck your toes, engage the legs, and you can come to the hands and knees or press yourself straight up to a plank pose. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Nice big three-legged dog here. Exhale, step that left foot forward to the front of the mat. Step the right foot forward to meet it, so you're back at the top of the mat in that Uttanasana forward fold. And then inhale, come to a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release over your legs. Press down through your feet, sweep your arms up and overhead on an inhale. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. And we take side two. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen to a flat back. Shift the weight into that left foot. Step your right foot all the way back to the back of the mat. Lower that back knee all the way down to the ground. Untuck the toe. Walk the hands up the top of your left thigh bone. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Bend at the elbows like little goalposts and just lift the chest towards the ceiling so the low back doesn't move at all. And then inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bend at the elbows, just the upper chest lifts towards the ceiling. Lift the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down to the ground, tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. So you plant your hands down flat and then squeeze that left knee up into the chest. So it's a very active low belly. Inhale, sweep that left leg up and back behind you. Opening up through the hip, bending your knee, circling your ankle, getting a little bit of release. Straighten that leg powerfully back behind you. Set your left foot down next to your right. Inhale, glide forward into that strong plank pose, top of a push-up. And again, it's a count of 5. You lower yourself down to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Nice and long through the legs. Reach the arms back, interlace so that the other thumb is on top. Reach the fingertips back. Reach the crown of the head forward so the chest peels up. Reach the toe tips back so much that they begin to lift. You're in this Shalabhasana. And then exhale, release. Bring the hands into that chaturanga position. Tuck your toes, engage the legs, press yourself up to a plank pose or maybe to all fours. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, float the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, draw the right knee to the nose, step it through. Bring the left foot forward to meet the right, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, Ardha. Exhale, release over the legs. Press down through your feet, sweep your arms up and overhead on your inhale. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Now you've got a little rhythm of breath going. We'll take a couple rounds of Surya A. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. Step it back to that plank pose. Knees up or down. Shift forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga. This time you can roll over the tops of the feet. Take a little baby cobra or maybe an upward facing dog. Again, focusing on your upper spine. Keep your low back long and neutral. Exhale, press it back to your dog. And then it's 5 smooth breaths here. Just getting acquainted with your roots. The hands press down, the feet press down, then the backs of the arms activate up, the fronts of the legs activate up. Is your low belly engaged or are you letting it be floppy? Is your neck free and easy? And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen to that flat back. Exhale, release over the legs. Press down through your feet, sweep the arms up and overhead on an inhale. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart, and we take 2 more, just like that. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step or jump it back. Take it through your vinyasa. You can always skip the chaturanga up dog and go straight from a plank to a downward facing dog. Finding that steady breath when you come back to your dog. So just knowing that even though I'm sort of guiding you, you're still the captain of your own ship. So you get to take care of your own needs. 2 more steady breaths here. And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, release. Press down through your feet, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Last time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step or float it back. Take it through your vinyasa or go straight from that plank to your dog. Steady breath here. And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, release over your legs. Then this time, bend your knees nice and low. Utkatasana, chair pose. So your hips are sitting back, your arms are reaching high. That tailbone is dropping towards the floor, so it's not a big duck tail, right? But it's also not tucked underneath you. It's kind of splitting the difference. And then you're going to draw the hands to prayer at your heart and twist your right elbow on the outside of your left knee. So you lean your chest up and back. Revolve the spine around. Just getting a little action here. And then inhale, unwind. And exhale, twist to the other side. Left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Leaning your chest up and back. And then inhale, unwind, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come on up to standing. Draw hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes. Reconnect to that centered, grounded, rooted you. Nothing about any of this has to be fancy, right? Like I'm in my living room in an apartment in Los Angeles. All I need is the 72 inches of mat space. And blink your eyes open. Bend your knees. Sit your hips down into that chair pose. And we're going to take a little variation on Surya B today. So you're going to sit a little bit deeper, and a little bit deeper, and a little bit deeper until you come all the way down to Navasana. So you lift your feet up. If you want a little more support in that Navasana, you just bring your hands back behind you. Send your gaze forward. And then we're just going to take 3 rounds for this first round. Inhale, lower Ardha Navasana. Exhale, lift. So I'm demonstrating the version with a little bit of arm support. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. You can also do this with the arms reaching forward. Last time on this round, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Shift yourself forward. Come back into your chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward over those legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, Ardha. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back. Plank pose, take it through your vinyasa, or pause and strengthen the belly in that plank and go straight to your dog. Right foot steps in between your two hands, back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through your vinyasa. Left foot steps forward. Back heel spins. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through your vinyasa or go straight to your dog. Steady breath here in that dog. So you churn everything up in the Surya B. And then you give yourself steady breath here to reconnect with your roots. Bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, release. Bend your knees nice and low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Come on up to standing, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Round two. Inhale, sit low. And then sit a little deeper. And a little deeper. And you come all the way down into that Navasana. This time we do 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, belly button towards the spine. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Shift yourself forward. Come back into that chair pose. You may or may not need the hands to help you. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, take it through your vinyasa, or go straight to your downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. Left foot steps forward, back heel spins. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back, take it through vinyasa, or maybe you go straight from your plank to your dog. Steady breath here in that dog. And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, release. Bend your knees nice and low, chair pose. Come on up to standing, draw hands to prayer at your heart. Last time. Inhale, sit low. And then sit a little deeper. And then a little deeper. And then all the way down into that Navasana. And you guessed it, now we do 10. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Finding that rhythm. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. It's like a dance. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. You're already halfway there. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last 2. Inhale. Exhale. Last 1. Inhale. Exhale. And then shift yourself forward. Chair pose. Exhale. Fold yourself forward over your legs. Inhale. Lengthen the chest. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, take it through that vinyasa. That up dog might feel extra good. Press it back to your downward facing dog. Right foot steps forward, back heel spins. Inhale, single breath, lifts your warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. Left foot steps forward, back heel spins. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. And then this time, walk your hands back to your feet. You can separate your feet about a hip's distance apart. And either slide your palms underneath your feet for Padahastasana, just giving your wrists a little stretch in the opposite direction. Or maybe you just hook the first two fingers around the big toe. Lengthen the chest forward. Spread the elbow tips out wide. Right? Bending your knees as much as you need so that your spine can be long, especially if you've got tighter hamstrings. And then you let your breath resettle here. And then release the hands from the feet. Walk your hands all the way forward, coming into your downward facing dog. Float your right leg up and back behind you, coming to a three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the right knee up to the nose, step the foot through. Spin the back heel down, rise up into your warrior one. And then open it up into your warrior two. How you doing? So we've been flowing for a little while. Now we're going to find a little bit of stillness, build some strength. So you let that gaze be steady over your front fingertips. Right? So now for today, right? These poses that are complicated, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of things we can focus on. But for today, can you focus on the rotation of this hip? Right? So your outer hip is dropping down towards the floor. And the inner thighs are zipping up. Right? This rotation is going to be important later. Right? So start to build a blueprint of it now. As your gaze is steady forward. And then you just breathe. Noticing sensations or thoughts that bubble up to the surface. Can you quiet those as much as possible and turn up the volume on your breath? And then on your next inhale, flip that front palm, reverse the warrior. Find that juicy side stretch. And then exhale, bring the elbow to the knee, reach the left arm up and overhead. And again, inhale, up and back, juicy side stretch. Exhale, elbow to knee. Left arm reaches up and overhead. And you might keep that right elbow tip on the thigh bone, or you might slide it down to the inside of your front foot, or grab your block and place it on a block. And again, you just give yourself 5 breaths here. So you're focused on that deep rotation in the hip, length through the spine. Two more breaths. And then inhale, come back up to your warrior two. Now you're going to swing around to crescent pose. So you're going to spin onto the ball of your back foot and square off your hips. So my warrior two is pretty long, so I always need to step that back foot in a little bit. Right, so now your hips are parallel towards the front of the room. The chest is parallel towards the front of the room. You've gone from rotation to neutral. Circle the hands back behind you. Interlace the fingertips, and again, it's just the upper chest lifting towards the ceiling. And then exhale, tip yourself forward over that front leg and shift yourself up into your warrior three. I'm going to switch back a little bit to make sure that you can see me. And so your hands are reaching back behind you like in that Shalabhasana. Your chest is parallel to the floor. And you might keep your arms back behind you here. Or you might bring them down for balance. As you tip your chest even further forward and float that left leg out, coming into a standing split. Maybe the hands come down to the floor. Maybe you hold the ankle with one or both hands if you're really interested in continuing to play with balance this afternoon. And then you're going to bend through your right knee, reach the left foot all the way back to the back of the mat. Lower that back knee down to the ground. So you come back into that Anjaneyasana from before. Untuck the back toe, walk the hands up the top of the thigh bone like you did before. And then you're going to reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, bend at the elbow, and bring it down to the shoulder blades. And then reach the left arm, and you can just hold the top of that right elbow tip as you get a little bit of rotation in the shoulders. And then you're going to keep that right arm where it is. Release your left arm either down to the top of your thigh bone, or if you want to bend through your back knee and summon that heel towards you, you can. So it's a little awkward, right? You've got one elbow pointing towards the ceiling and you're holding onto the foot. But notice, like me right now, I'm overdoing it in my low back, right? I'm letting the back bend come from there. So can you drop your tailbone down? Ooh, makes it a lot more challenging. And just lift through the upper chest. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release everything down to the ground. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee, step it back to your plank, and then you decide with wisdom, vinyasa or straight to a dog. Left side. Inhale, left leg floats up and back. Exhale, draw the knee up to the nose. Step the foot through, spin the back heel down. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, open it up to that nice, strong warrior two. So as you kind of settle yourself in, let your attention come to your hip so that your knee isn't knocking in and it's also not knocking out. It's stacked right up over the ankle because you dropped the outer hip down. It's deeply rotated in the hip socket. Gaze is steady over your left fingertips. And then you just let yourself be here for a couple of breaths. And then stay this low in your front leg. Flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, bring the elbow to the knee. Reach the right arm up and overhead. Inhale, reverse it. Exhale, elbow to knee. And pause again. So you're hugging that left hip in. You're reaching the right arm forward. You're sealing the outer arch of the back foot down. Maybe your left hand comes all the way down to the inside of your left foot, or maybe the elbow stays on the top of the thigh. Take two more breaths here, reaching your tailbone long, rotating from deep in that hip socket. And then you lift all the way up to that warrior two. Spin onto the ball of your back foot and neutralize yourself into that crescent pose. So adjust as you need so that your shoulders are facing forward, your hips are facing forward, your hands circle back behind you, you interlace the other thumb on top, lift the chest towards the ceiling, and then exhale, tip yourself forward into that warrior three. And you may find, like I do, that one side, the balance is a little awkward. Right? And that's okay. Again, it's just you and your mat. So what can you do to sort of adjust so you feel a little less awkward, a little more balanced? And that may happen today, or it may happen 10 years from now. Crown of the head reaches forward, right heel reaches back, and then tip your chest forward and float that right leg up. And maybe the hands stay back behind you in the balance. Maybe they come down to the ground for a little support. Maybe you split the difference and start to play with your balance by holding the standing ankle with one or both hands. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, bend through that left knee, reach the right foot way back towards the back of the mat. Lower that back knee all the way down to the ground so you come again into that Anjaneyasana. Walk the hands up the feet so you're kind of accustomed to it now. Is that tailbone reaching long or are you ducktailing? Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling, bend at the elbow and place the fingertips in between your shoulder blade. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling and hold on to that left elbow tip. Just giving that big rotation in the shoulder. Connecting to that steady breath. This may be enough. Or maybe you bend that back knee, summon it towards your tailbone, reach back with your left hand and clasp hold. So your chest lifts proud and strong. Your tailbone reaches long. Your breath is steady and even. And then release everything down to the ground. Tuck your back toe, lift your back knee. Step it all the way back through your vinyasa. One more little standing sequence. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose. Step the foot through, spin the back heel down. Circle the arms, warrior two. Press your front leg to straight, hinge the right hip back and come on down, Trikonasana. So you can bring your hand to a block, or maybe it's on the ankle. If you need a little extra support, you bring the left hand to your hip. Send your gaze down towards the floor. Put a slight bend in your right knee. Step that right foot forward, step that right hand forward and float your left leg up. So you come into that Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon. So if you've never done Shavasana, today's the day, right? Because we've totally warmed ourselves up into it. Everything that we've done applies here. That tailbone is long. Bend through that left knee. You summon it towards the tailbone. Bring the left hand around the front of that ankle. And then the back bend, again, comes from the upper spine. Lifting up and back, up and back. That low spine stays long. Release that top foot. Bend through the left knee, step it all the way back into that warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse, so again, you get that nice juicy side stretch. Circle the hands down. Take it through a vinyasa or go straight to your dog. And then your left leg floats up and back behind you. Exhale, draw the knee to the nose, step the foot through, spin the back heel down, circle the arms open, warrior two. Press the front leg to straight, shift the hip back, come on down, Trikonasana, triangle pose. So maybe you grab that block. Maybe your right hand comes down to the right hip for a little more stability. Look down at your left foot. Put a slight bend in the knee and up you go into Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon. So last balancing back bend here. Flex through your back foot. Reach that crown of the head forward. So you establish length first. Then bend through your right knee. Reach back and clasp hold of the foot. And that tailbone continues to be long, but that sticky upper chest lifts. So it's no different from when you were in that Anjaneyasana and you made goalposts. It's the same shape. You've just added some complication to it. Steady, smooth breath here. And then release that top foot. Bend through your left knee. Step it all the way back into that warrior two. Flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior. Circle the hands all the way down to the ground. Last vinyasa here. Spin onto the ball of your back foot. Step it back into your plank. Bend at the elbows. Roll over the tops of the feet. Exhale, press it back. Take a huge inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Lower your knees down to the ground. Shift your hips back. Just give yourself a child's pose for a couple of moments. Once you come back to that home base from the very beginning of class. And then you're going to walk your hands back to the tops of your thigh bones, so you're sitting up. So we're going to do a couple rounds of camel pose. If you have a block, I love using a block to stabilize through my legs. If you don't, you're not missing out. But if you have access or you want to get a block, I highly recommend it. Press down through the tops of your thigh bones, and you're going to lift onto your knees. So if you have your block, take it between the legs. And it just gives you something to stabilize, right? These guys like to be real floppy. So squeezing the block gives you something to focus on. You're going to bring your hands to your low back. So the heel of the hand is going to press down. It's just reminding your tailbone to be long. And then you're going to lift the chest up towards the ceiling. And then it's like a reverse stair step. So you lift the chest up, and then maybe send the gaze back. And then lift the chest up. And then send the gaze back. And this could be plenty, right? Squeezing that block, rolling the inner thighs. If you want to bring the hands down to the tops of the heels, you can. Really open across the chest. 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, come up and out. Sit the hips down onto the heels. You can move that block off to one side. Close your eyes. If you feel your heart beating a little bit, now you get to kind of knit everything back together. And then we go again. So press down through the shins, lift yourself up. Bring the hands to the small of your back. Press the tailbone down, lift the chest up. And you go up and back at your pace until you find that camel pose. And then if you're squeezing the block, squeeze the block. If you don't have a block, imagine you are squeezing one in between your legs and see if that activates those legs just a little bit more. And then inhale, lift up. And exhale, come down onto your heels. Close your eyes. And then we're going to take one more. So press down through the shins, lift yourself up. Find that steadiness of your setup. And then you lift yourself up and back. And up and back, and find your maximum camel pose. Could be hands on the ankles, could be hands on the hips, could be very deep or very mild. And then inhale, lift up. Come down onto your heels. Give yourself a moment to pause. And then blink your eyes open, and now's the moment where we're going to start to bring everything we've done today together. So you're going to slide yourself forward onto all fours, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back behind you. Float your right leg up and back, 3-legged dog. And then you're going to exhale, draw the knee to the right shoulder, and we're going to set up for a single pigeon. So you're going to make a little L shape with the front of your shin and slide the left leg back. So here's the moment where it's imperative that you either use that block underneath your hip to give yourself a little support, or you roll up that blanket or find that steady pillow. Because what you want is to have your hip rooting down into something. So you can see, like on me, right? I have a bendy body, and it's really easy to overdo it in the back. So I'm staying long in my low back, and I'm bringing the floor to me so that I've got that deep rotation in the hip without putting pressure on the knee. Okay. Then just allow yourself to fold forward. Right? Just take a nice kind of juicy hip opening here in the single pigeon. And just take 2 more breaths here. And then walk your hands up. So if you have an eagle eye, you might have noticed that I've switched from the block to a pillow. The block is just like a little too much for me today, right? A little too much height. So notice that in your own practice. So now we've got this hip opening happening. We're going to add a back bend to it. So you start by just lifting the chest up towards the ceiling. And honestly, this could be enough, right? This could be your peak for the day. Or you add what we've done today, bend through that left knee, reach back with your left hand, maybe reach back with both hands. And now you've got this big reverse, it's called, you ready? It's called rajakapotasana. It's a one-footed king pigeon pose. Now some of you guys, I need to switch back to the block. Now it's too loud. Some of you guys may have more flexible backs than I do. And some of you guys are able to reach the arms up and back in that reverse variation we did and hold on to the foot. My body doesn't do that anymore, and I'm not going to force it. But you can make your arms go gadget longer with a strap. Now, this could be a disaster. But you loop the strap, no, I think it worked, around the foot and reach the arms up. Right? And then you can start to bend at the elbows, to smack myself in the face. And you start to get that very deep back bend. But you can see, right, that in order to do this with support, it takes a whole lot to lengthen that low back and lift the upper chest. And you're going to take 2 more breaths here. And then exhale. Whew. Release it all out. Tuck your back toe. Lift your back knee. And give yourself a second in your downward facing dog. It shouldn't feel like, it's pretty intense on your back, but you shouldn't feel like you need to put your body in a vice after this. But enjoy moving in the other direction. That very deep hip opener, very deep back bend, all combined together. And then we take the second side. So your left leg floats up and back behind you. Exhale, set yourself up for that single pigeon. Extending the left leg back behind you. You can bring that block underneath your hip. And so you bring the floor to you. So you give yourself support for your practice. And then crawl the hands forward. And release into that nice deep hip opener. Several breaths here. And then inhale, walk your hands back up. So it's super duper active. Right? Your tailbone is long. Your left hip roots down into that block blanket or pillow. The chest lifts nice and high. And this could be plenty. Right? This could be enough work for the day. Or if you want to bend through that back knee and reach back, you can reach both hands back. This is a mighty big back bend, right? Your chest is opening quite a bit. Your tailbone is reaching long. Or you grab that strap, loop it around. Do a little bit of like, wait, where's my body? Reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and then you start to walk the hands down that strap like a reverse ladder, like you're trying to bring the foot to you without overdoing it. Steady, smooth breath here. King pigeon pose. One more inhale. And then exhale, release. Tuck that back toe. Ooh, lift that back knee. Reach the hips up and back behind you, coming into your downward facing dog. When you get there, take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And then once again, lower your knees down to the ground. Shift your hips back into a child's pose. Just give your spine a gentle release in the opposite direction. And then you inhale, roll yourself up to seated. Shift your hips off to one side. Extend the legs forward towards the front of the mat. So the counter to all those back bends is a twist. Draw your right knee up and cross it over the top of your left. You can keep this left leg extended, or you can bend the knee and tuck it underneath you. Okay, so you're sitting tall. You can always slide a blanket or even sit on a block here to give yourself a little more height. Right hand comes back behind you, left arm reaches up. And then exhale, twist. Left elbow on the outside of the right knee, or maybe you hold that knee with your hand. But after all that up and back action, now you get a little revolution, just to bring your body back to neutral before we rest. And then inhale, come back to center. Extend both legs forward. Sit nice and tall in Dandasana for just a moment. And then bend that left knee, cross it over top of the right. Bend your right knee. Bring your left hand behind you, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then you twist. Maybe the elbow comes to the outside of the knee. Maybe the hand comes to the outside of the knee. So you're giving yourself a little range of motion, right? A little revolution in the spine, a little resetting of the whole body. And then inhale, come back to center. Extend both legs out in front of you. Sit nice and tall in that Dandasana. And then reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale, fold forward over the legs. Just allowing your head to hang. Allowing yourself to really relax. And then inhale, roll yourself up to seated. Exhale, you're going to come all the way down onto your back. And lift your legs up towards the ceiling. And this may feel awesome, or you may want one more little counter action to all the back bending. And a plow pose might be interesting for you today. So you're going to reach the toes all the way up and back behind you. This is only to be done if your neck is okay. If you've got any kind of tension in your neck, you don't need to give it this extra pressure. But this just is stretching that upper spine in the other direction. You might even bend your knees around your ears for Karnapidasana, which means ear squeezing pose. And then one vertebra at a time, start to roll yourself all the way down onto the mat. Once your spine unrolls, then you can unroll your legs. Extend them nice and long. Start to settle yourself down so that your palms flop open towards the ceiling, your feet flop open, your eyes gently close, and you're fully supported by the floor. And then when you feel that full, beautiful support, take one last big controlled inhale through your nose. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And just allow the rest to be as vital as the effort. For just a few moments, give yourself the gift of doing nothing, bringing balance to your body. And then if you have the time and you want to hang out here in this rest, you're welcome to for as long as you'd like. As you're ready to come out of it, you'll begin to wiggle through your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms up and overhead. And in any way that makes sense for your mind and body, you'll start to make your way up to a comfortable cross-legged position. Keeping your eyes closed, just let your hands rest gently on the tops of your knees. Give yourself a moment to observe the effect of your practice on your mind and your body. And then drawing the hands to prayer at your heart. Bowing your head towards your hands, finishing things out with that little gesture of gratitude. Taking the gratitude with you as you move off of your mat and into the rest of your day. Namaste. Well done, you guys. You made it through another live session. If you ever want to do this practice again, it'll be archived on the channel, so you can just check it out whenever you want. It'll be labeled Flow for Backbends. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section. If you really enjoyed this, definitely like and subscribe to the channel. I think that's it for announcements. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Bye, guys.